My name is Lisa. I am 35 years old. I work in a small office in the city. I sit at a desk and type on a computer all day. My life used to feel simple. I had a home, a job, and a husband. His name is Tom. We met when I was 25. He was quiet and kind. I liked his smile and the way he listened. We dated for 1 year, then we got married. In the beginning, everything felt special. Tom brought flowers. He opened doors. He asked about my day. We walked hand in hand, and I felt safe beside him. But things are not the same anymore. Now we live in the same house, but it feels cold. He sleeps next to me every night, but it feels like I am lying beside a stranger. I can hear him breathe, but I feel alone. There is no kiss before bed, no hug in the morning, only silence. Every day, Tom leaves for work early. He does not say goodbye. He does not ask if I slept well. He just picks up his bag and walks out the door. In the evenings, he comes home late. Sometimes he eats dinner. Sometimes he says he already ate with someone else. I do not ask who. Last Thursday, I made pasta. It was his favorite. I waited until 9 p.m., but he did not come. I sat at the table and watched the clock. At 10:30, he finally walked in. I stood up and said, "Hi." My voice was soft. He looked at me and replied, "Hi," while taking off his shoes. I told him, "I made pasta." He looked at the kitchen, then said, "I'm not hungry," and went to the bedroom. That night, we lay in bed, back to back. I could feel the space between us. I closed my eyes and listened to the quiet. I felt tears in my throat, but I did not let them fall. I turned away from him. I think he turned away too. In the morning, he got up, took a quick shower, and left. No good morning. No take care. Just the sound of the front door closing. I sat on the bed and looked at the wall. I did not move for 5 minutes. At work, I made mistakes. My mind was not with me. My boss asked me to check a report. I forgot to save it. I had to do it all again. My hands felt cold. I could not stop thinking about Tom. Was it my fault? Did I stop being interesting? Did I stop being pretty? That evening, I wanted to try again. I bought chicken and vegetables. I cleaned the house. I wore a nice blue dress he once said he liked. I even wore the same perfume I used years ago. I cooked a warm dinner. I lit a small candle and waited. Tom came home at 8:45. I smiled and said, "I made dinner. Your favorite." He looked at the table and said, "I'm tired. I'll eat later." Then he sat on the couch and stared at his phone. I sat across from him and said nothing. I picked up my fork and ate alone. The food was warm, but my heart felt cold. I kept looking at him, hoping he would say something. He didn't. After dinner, I sat next to him on the couch. "Tom," I said. He didn't look up. "Do you still love me?" I asked. He turned his head and looked at me. His face had no emotion. "Why do you ask that?" he said. "Because you don't talk to me. You don't touch me. You don't see me," I said. He stood up and replied, I'm tired. I don't want to talk about this now. He walked away and closed the bedroom door. I sat there, looking at the floor. I felt something inside me break. It didn't make a sound, but I felt it. The next day, I stayed late at work. I didn't want to go home. I didn't want to face the silence again. My friend Sarah stopped by my desk. She looked at me and said, "You look tired." "I'm just busy," I said. "You also look sad," she said. I looked down. I didn't know how to reply. "Do you want to talk?" she asked. I shook my head. "Maybe later," I said. That night I came home around 8 p.m. Tom wasn't home yet. I sat in the kitchen and drank tea. I looked at my phone. No message. No missed call. Nothing. At 11:30, the door finally opened. Tom walked in, quiet. He didn't look surprised to see me awake. He said, "Hey," and walked to the bedroom. He smelled like perfume. Not mine. A strong, sweet smell. I stayed quiet. My hands gripped the teacup. I felt something sharp in my chest, but I said nothing. I followed him to the bedroom and lay in bed. He turned off the light and lay down beside me. The bed felt too small and too large at the same time. I didn't sleep that night. In the morning, he woke up late. He rushed to get ready. I watched him tie his shoes. He looked up and said, "I have a meeting. I'll be home late." I nodded. He grabbed his bag and left. Again, no kiss, no goodbye. I sat on the bed and looked around the room. The bed, the lamp, the mirror, the clothes. Everything looked the same, but everything felt different. I looked at the spot beside me where he sleeps every night. I whispered to myself, "I sleep beside a stranger." I got up, took a shower, and went to work. But the truth followed me. It sat with me on the bus. It stood with me in the elevator. It stayed with me at my desk. I was not sure what to do. I was not sure how to fix something that didn't speak anymore. At lunch, I sat outside with Sarah. I looked at the street, the cars, the people. "Is it still Tom?" she asked. "Yes," I said. "You don't look happy," she said. "I don't know how to be happy anymore," I replied. She looked at me and said, "Then maybe it's time to ask yourself a hard question." I didn't answer, but I knew the question, and I knew the answer might change everything. The next morning, I got dressed and left early. I did not eat breakfast. I did not say goodbye. Tom was still in bed. I did not want to see him. I just wanted to be alone. At work, I tried to stay busy. I answered emails. I printed papers. I made coffee. But my heart felt heavy. My hands felt weak. I could not smile. Before I share the rest of my story, I want to ask you something. Where are you listening from? Sometimes I wonder if someone out there truly hears me, someone who understands what I'm feeling. It gives me strength to know I'm not alone. So please, tell me in the comments. At lunch, Sarah came to my desk. She said, "Come eat with me." I did not want to, but I said yes. We sat on a bench outside. The sun was warm. The sky was blue. But inside, I felt cold. Sarah looked at me and said, "Lisa, you do not look okay." I looked down. "I feel lost." "Did you talk to Tom?" she asked. I shook my head. "He does not talk. He comes home late. He eats alone. He sleeps beside me. But I do not feel him. Do you think he still loves you?" I did not know the answer. That night I came home at 7. Tom was not there. I took a shower. I changed into soft clothes. I sat on the bed and looked at my phone. Still no message from him. At 9:30, I heard the door. I stayed in the bedroom. He walked in, looked tired, and placed his bag down. "Hi," he said. "Hi," I replied. He changed his clothes and sat on the couch. He turned on the TV. I walked into the room and sat far from him. "Tom," I said. "Yes?" "Can we talk?" He sighed. "Now?" "Yes." He turned off the TV. "Okay." I looked at him. "Do you still love me?" He looked surprised. "Why are you asking this again?" "Because you act like I'm not here." He stayed quiet. "You come home late. You eat alone. You sleep beside me. But it feels like you're gone." He looked at the floor. "I just want the truth, Tom." He spoke slowly. "I don't know what I feel anymore." His words cut me like a knife. "What do you mean?" He shook his head. "I feel far from you. I feel tired all the time. I don't know how to fix this." "Do you want to fix it?" He did not answer. That silence said more than words. I stood up and walked to the bedroom. I lay down. My eyes filled with tears. He didn't follow me. He just sat there. That night, I did not sleep. I closed my eyes, but my heart stayed awake. The next day, I took the afternoon off. I told my boss I was not feeling well. I walked to a small park. I sat on a bench and looked at the trees. Old people walked past. Kids played on swings. Everyone looked full of life. But I felt empty. I thought about the past. I thought about our first date. I wore a red dress. Tom brought me flowers. He looked nervous and sweet. We laughed at the same jokes. He called me his person. I thought we would grow old together. But now, we were just quiet people in the same house. My phone buzzed. It was Sarah. "How are you feeling?" I typed, "Like I live with a stranger." That night, I made soup. I placed 2 bowls on the table. I waited. Tom came home at 8:15. He looked surprised. "I made dinner," I said. He sat down. "Thanks." We ate in silence. After a few minutes, I spoke. "Tom, I want to try. Do you?" He looked at me. "I don't know." I said, "You need to know." He stood up and said, "I'm sorry. I can't do this now." He walked to the bedroom and closed the door. I sat alone and looked at my bowl. The soup was still warm, but I felt frozen. That weekend, I stayed in. I cleaned the house. I did the laundry. I baked bread. Tom was home, but we did not talk. He watched TV. He played with his phone. He left to get coffee. He came back with none for me. I sat on the bed Sunday night and looked at the wall. This is not love, I thought. On Monday morning, I packed a small bag. I took a few clothes. I took my toothbrush. I left a short note on the table. I need time. Please don't call. I took the train to Sarah's place. She opened the door and hugged me. I can sleep on the sofa, I said. No, she said. You take my bed. I looked at her and cried. I did not want to, but I did. That night, I lay in Sarah's bed. I looked at the ceiling. I felt sad, but also free. There was no silence pressing on me, no cold wall in the bed, just quiet peace. Tom did not call. Not that night. Not the next. I went to work. I ate with Sarah. I walked in the park after dinner. I felt like I could breathe again. After 3 days, Tom sent a message. Can we talk? I stared at the screen for a long time. I didn't reply. I looked out the window. The city lights were soft. My chest felt tight, but I also felt strong. For the first time in years, I was listening to myself. That night, I sat by the window. I looked at the street lights. Cars passed. People walked. Life moved on. I held my phone, still looking at Tom's message. He wanted to talk, but I didn't know what to say. I stayed at Sarah's place for one more night. She made tea and told me, "You don't have to go back just because he asked." I nodded. I know. I just feel tired. Everything feels heavy. You don't have to decide now, she said. Take your time. The next morning, I woke up early. I sat in the kitchen with a cup of coffee. I thought about my life, about Tom, about the love we used to have. It was real once, but it felt so far away now. It felt like another life. I looked around Sarah's small apartment. It was quiet, clean, warm. I felt safe there, but I also knew I couldn't hide forever. That afternoon, I texted Tom. We can meet. Just talk. Nothing more. He replied fast. Okay. At home? 7 p.m.? Okay. At 6:30, I stood outside our door. My heart beat fast. I held my bag close. I didn't know if I was ready. I didn't know what I wanted to hear. I opened the door. Tom was already there. He looked different. Not sad. Not angry. Just quiet. He said, "Hi." I said, "Hi." I walked in and sat on the edge of the couch. Tom sat across from me. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then he said, "Thank you for coming." I nodded. He looked down and said, I've been thinking a lot. I waited. I was not kind to you. I was not present. I made you feel alone. I know that now. I looked at him. His voice was soft. I didn't know how to talk about my feelings, so I said nothing. That was wrong. I just stopped trying. I felt something rise in my chest. I said, "You didn't just stop trying. You stopped seeing me. I was there, every day. And you walked past me like I was part of the wall." Tom looked like he wanted to cry. "I know," he whispered. "It's not just your fault," I said. I also stayed quiet. I waited. I hoped. I wanted you to notice me, but I never told you how much it hurt. He wiped his face. "I was afraid of hearing that you were unhappy, afraid of the truth," I said. "But the truth came anyway. It always does." He looked at me. "Lisa, I miss you. I miss what we had. I want to try again, if you'll let me." I sat still. I thought about all the quiet nights, the lonely dinners, the empty space beside me in bed. I looked at the couch, at the table, at the floor. Every part of the house held memories, good and bad. Then I said, "Tom, I'm tired. I'm tired of feeling small in my own home. I came today to listen, not to decide." He nodded slowly. "That's fair. I don't hate you," I said. "But I don't know if I can trust you again. Not yet." He didn't fight. He didn't push. He said, "I'll wait." I picked up my bag. "I'll go now." "Okay," he said. "Take care." I walked out the door. The air outside felt cold, but my heart felt clear. Over the next few days, I stayed at Sarah's place. I went to work. I listened to music. I read small books. I talked more. I smiled more. Sometimes I cried, but the pain started to feel lighter. One evening, Sarah asked, "Do you think you'll go back?" I said, "I don't know. Maybe. But not as the same woman. Not with the same silence." "You're stronger now," she said. "Maybe," I said. "Or maybe I just remember who I was before." The next weekend, I met Tom again. This time, we went to a small coffee shop near the park. He looked nervous. I sat across from him. He said, "I started seeing a counselor. Just one session so far." I was surprised. "Why?" "To learn how to talk, how to listen, how to fix the parts of me that forgot how to care." I nodded. "That's good. I'm not asking you to move back now," he said. "I just want to be better." I looked at his eyes. "Not for me. For yourself." "Yes," he said. "For myself. And maybe for us." We sat in silence for a minute. It was not a heavy silence. It felt honest. I said, "I'm still hurt, Tom. I'm still unsure." "I understand. Sometimes I still feel like I slept beside a stranger." He looked down. "I was that stranger." We finished our drinks. he said. "Can I see you again?" "Yes," I said, "but slow." "I can do slow," he said. And this time, I believed him. A few weeks passed. We met once a week. No pressure. Just coffee, walks, small talks. He kept going to his sessions. I kept taking time for myself. One Sunday he said, "You look lighter." "I feel lighter," I said. That night, I looked at a photo of us from years ago. We were laughing. We looked young. I didn't cry this time. I smiled. Tom sent a message. "Thank you for giving me a chance to change." I replied, "It's not a second chance. It's a new one." We were not back to normal. Maybe we never would be. But we were not strangers anymore. We were two people learning to speak again, to hear again, to feel again. If you liked my story, please like, comment, and share. More simple and emotional stories are coming soon.